JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. If this is your first time checking out a video, please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. We're watching a clip of First Take, talking about Justin Fields. He's definitely the man of the day today, for sure, on all the sports shows. And, you know, Stephen A. is saying, it's a beautiful day. Justin Fields is the future of the Steelers. I've already made a couple videos with regards to Justin Fields and kind of what's been going on with him. I think calling him the future of the Steelers is a bold statement to make. I think maybe if you were more confident in having a legitimate offensive DNA with the Steelers, right? If this was, you know, a situation where you have someone that you know is a true elite OC, not to say that their OC doesn't have potential to kind of make moves, because he has kind of shown that in the past, technically speaking. I would say that maybe you could be a little bit more excited, but with Mike Tomlin as your head coach, I think it's a little bit more difficult to be excited with a dynamic quarterback such as Justin Fields, because all your trust now has to go into the OC. And not to mention, if he is able to turn Justin Fields around and turns him into a great quarterback, and now they're really flying, he'll get another head coaching job. Absolutely. He'll be seen as, you know, as a quarterback whisperer, as someone who has turned Justin Fields away. Justin Fields was ending. His career was ending, and now he made it work. He would get another job at you know, who knows? I mean, honestly, I really would believe that, especially depending on how good Justin Fields gets. And then you might be in a situation where once the OC leaves, how good is Justin Fields? Because sometimes you have quarterbacks that are really only as good as their either offensive head coach or their OC, that it's really kind of like Ratatouille in a lot of ways, right? With the rat hanging out in his hat and he's pulling all the strings. I mean, we've seen that. We have seen that with many, many quarterbacks, that the moment they leave their main coach, their main OC, things are just not the same, you know? And that's problematic. And that's why someone like a Patrick Mahomes has the luxury as having the Andy Reid as his head coach. And same thing with any coach that, you know, any player that's going to a Sean McVay or a Shanahan, or at this point now Shane Steichen, because they are the head coach. They are not going anywhere. You got them. And we saw Sean McVay immediately have success with Baker Mayfield, immediate success with Matthew Stafford, pretty much immediate success with Jared Goff. Jared Goff was being seen as a borderline bust. Okay? Now the dude's getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars and going to a Super Bowl as well as an NFC championship game. Almost went to another Super Bowl. Okay? A lot of that was Sean McVay. So, you know, it'll be interesting. I think Justin Fields is worth the gamble, worth the risk to see what's there. But at the same time, I just don't know. I think too many people are just thinking Chicago is a black hole. They're failures. No one can succeed there, essentially. Now that Justin Fields is out of there, now he can finally succeed. Now he can finally flap his wings. And I'm just not so sure that's true. But let's take a listen, and we'll jump in.
Like a quarterback controversy is just inevitable?
Well, it's inevitable because I don't think that there's much separation between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. I have no problem with Russell Wilson starting the season. You're giving a veteran, a Super Bowl champion, a 9-time Pro Bowler the nod to start off the season. And after all, he's the one you acquired in free agency, albeit for just $1.2 million, Shannon. When I'm looking at Justin Fields, I'm saying, okay, you improved last year based off of what we saw the previous 2 years you were in the league, but you're still 10-28 as a starter. You only completed about 61% of your passes. 16 touchdowns and 9 interceptions on the entire season isn't a lot to write home about, particularly if you're now moving to a team that threw 25 touchdowns passes over 2 seasons, for crying out loud. Clearly, there needs to be some upgrade. We get all of that. I think that Justin Fields, with his athleticism, his mobility, his ability to run with the football and extend plays with his legs and what have you, I think that's a huge plus for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, his youth, he's only 25 years of age. I think that comes into play as well. And it is clear, for the moment anyway, that Justin Fields is the future. Next season, however, starting game 1, You want that veteran. You want a guy with Russell Wilson. And let's see what he does. And if he performs well, he'll keep the job for that one season he's in Pittsburgh. Obviously, giving Justin Fields time to even learn from a veteran and to be in a much better situation than he was in Chicago. But there's nothing wrong with Russell Wilson starting the season, and there's no guarantee that he's going to finish game one of the regular season, Shannon, let alone finish the season as the starter. So I got no problems with it whatsoever. You could call it a quarterback controversy.
God, he's so annoying. The thing is, though, and outside of you saying Russell Wilson getting injured, which I don't think that's what he was alluding to. He was just saying that he would play so poorly that you would then throw Justin Fields in there. If you think that that's actually a capability, then why even have Russ? And not to mention, what can Justin Fields then learn from that, quite honestly? I think people are also hoping that this is kind of like a Patrick Mahomes learning from Alex Smith type situation. But again, the difference is that one, Alex Smith understood the job. Two, Andy Reid. Three, Andy Reid. Four, Andy Reid. Five, Tyreek Hill. Six, Travis Kelce. Okay? So this idea that Justin Fields can just sit and learn from Russ and all this and, here we go. Yes, he can definitely learn and he will grow. He will get better just by being around Russ to a degree, right? Just because Russ is a competent, capable, seasoned veteran. You just are. And Justin Fields was not necessarily exposed to that in any measurable way. But the reality is I need to see how humble Justin Fields is going into this situation. I believe Patrick Mahomes did not go into Kansas City and say, I am the God, I am the king, that's right, let's go. And I'm not saying that Justin Fields is saying that. I'm not saying that at all. But Patrick Mahomes is an incredibly humble person. I don't even mean just humble as in taking praise, but humble as in willing to learn, willing to truly, learn. And I've said this extensively, his ability to, to learn from, say, Andy Reid. That Justin Fields, I'm not saying he hasn't demonstrated it or that he can't demonstrate it, but it's not a big defining characteristic of his personality that we have been privy to. And I'm not trying to make this as I think Justin Fields is a bad person or a bad player or anything of that nature. I am on the record that I would absolutely take a chance on Justin Fields, just because I want to take a listen. I want to take a look and see, because some of his highs are obviously pretty genuine, but his lows are really bad. With that said, though, I'm only taking a chance on a Justin Fields if I have a great offensive head coach or a great offensive, great OC who then says, I can make Justin work. I can do that. He's great. And let me tell you why. See all these issues that he has. I can fix that. Not to mention, look, this was because Chicago is doing this and they should have done that. Right. But this is the problem when you have a head coach who's defense, who's Mike Tomlin. The dude had a quarterback carousel with Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph. I mean, the whole thing was absurd. Big Ben hanging on by a thread, and it was like they wasted some years, some players on that roster, having Big Ben not be able to do anything. Dude was, my God, overweight, slow, could barely throw. And it's like, I don't know. What are you doing with that right now? Do you owe anything to Ben Roethlisberger at that point? I'm not so sure. So, and maybe that's a little cold, but, that's what the money's for. That's why you pay them hundreds of millions of dollars. So, I'm just not so sure that you can believe in the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin specifically to be able to organize this in a way that Justin Fields now can thrive. I think from a support system, from an emotional support, this is probably the best place for Russell Wilson and Justin Fields to go, because I do think Mike Tomlin is probably pretty darn good at instilling confidence in his players, a big, deep belief in them growing and their ability to overcome adversity and obstacles and, and any of the other noise. So I think Mike Tomlin is great in that regard. So I think from a personality and confidence building, both these players are in a great spot. But do I think that he's there to be able to maximize their ability to succeed? Not so much. So I'm curious to see what Shannon has to say now.
See, if you want to. As far as I'm concerned, it's a significant upgrade.
Shannon.
I am a
Shannon
very
Sharpe.
happy man. Going as Kenny Pickett.
Which one's
going as
the
Mason
which
Rudolph.
one's a
Going as Mitchell
significant
Trubisky.
upgrade?
For Wilson and Justin Fields, I'm very happy.
So I didn't know if you felt like one more than the other was a significant upgrade or
Both.
equally. Okay.
Both. Both of them. I mean, it's a beautiful day in the Steel City, Shannon. It's a beautiful day.
Shannon, they tell me if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. What do you think about this?
Well, I disagree with that. I think what they were able to do was upgrade their quarterback locker room, and it only cost them $1.2 million and a 6th-round draft pick. So you can't beat that. Both of those quarterbacks, BOAF, both of those quarterbacks are better than anything they had in the previous quarterback locker room. But I agree with you, Stephen A. Russell Wilson is the quarterback as long as he plays well. I know what they maybe have promised Russ. Russ, this is your job. But my grandfather used to say all the time, promises are like pie crust, thin and easily broken. If you do not play well, Justin Fields is going to come in. And if I'm Justin Fields, I don't care what they told me. I'm coming in and I'm trying to compete and I'm trying to get better every single day. Because look at last year, they had the 25th ranked strength of schedule. This year is 3rd. They won 10 games last year. The expectations are, if we got better quarterbacks, our record should be indicative of the better quarterback play. That's not necessarily true. So there's going to be pressure on Russ to play well every single game, knowing that probably the quarterback of the future, because we believe we got our quarterback this year.
If you believe that you have the quarterback of the future, then ask yourself, what are you trying to do with Justin Fields? Why did Justin Fields fail in Chicago? Because if you think it's just because Chicago is Chicago, then why not start Justin Fields right away? Why do this whole song and dance then? If you think it's just Chicago. If you think Justin Fields needs to be developed and grow and needs to relearn offense and needs to really relearn the language, learn to what it becomes to be a professional, then yes, then sit Justin Fields, treat him like a brand new rookie and be like, you know what? You're not playing. And if that's the case, if you think he needs to be developed, and I said this in my last video, then sit him for the whole season. Say, Justin, you are not playing this entire season. Unless Russell Wilson gets hurt, you are not playing. You are going to be the starter of this team next year. We are going to take the gamble. We're going to pay the $25 million because it's worth it. Because if you truly are the future of our team, then you know what? Then it's well worth it, because if you really are the future, then that means you're like a 45, 55, 60 plus million dollar quarterback. You know what? We'll risk that. But you are just here to learn and grow. I don't want you anxious in any game. You are just on the sidelines. Don't be like kind of being like, oh, am I going to play? We're down by 14. Am I going in at the, in the second quarter, the second half? You are not going in. Okay. You are just learning everything. You are going to soak up everything you can from Russ. Watch his highs, watch his lows. I'm Mike Tomlin now talking. I'm going to be telling you everything. You're going to be talking to our OC. You're just going to learn. You're going to start building rapport in practices, in the locker room. You are going to learn how to be a true professional. That is what we're doing, okay? No anxiety, no nothing. We're going to keep, you're going to keep working out. You're going to strengthen your body. You're going to continue to develop and mature. We're going to get you right. And then next season, it's on. Do that, okay? If that's really what you think. Because what do you gain by having this weird, messy year then? By saying, oh, Russ is, 6-6, do we put in Justin Fields? I don't know. We're 2 games behind. We could maybe make a playoff run or make it into the playoffs. I don't know. And then we haven't seen Justin Fields yet, and Justin Fields is getting anxious, and you know what? Okay, let's put him in. And then we throw him in week, week 12, week 13, week 10. And now it's like, I don't know. Should we have done that? Is he really actually prepared? Oh, he threw an interception and things are going to start to spiral. Things can spiral very easily. And do you want to throw someone, into the fire who has already been broken up with? His career, Justin Fields now, has not started off as he ever imagined. This is not how he dreamed it since the day he could dream, okay? He thought about being drafted and winning a Super Bowl and holding up the MVP trophy his rookie year, okay? Everyone imagines that, I'm going to enter the league and I'm going to do it, man. I'm going to do it. Let's go. And they just have this insane belief in themselves. Then they get punched in the face, okay? A lot of these football players, their first season, they lose more games their rookie year, or their first year as a starter, that is, than they have in their entire career. High school and college combined. Because when you're this good and you're playing at this level, all your teams that you've been on, you just win, right? A lot of these players never even lose in high school. You know, maybe they lose a game or two in college, you know? That's just the way it goes. And then they hit college, or then they hit, you know, pros, and then they lose like 8 games, and they're just like, I don't even know what this is. Like, I literally don't lose in my life. They have to learn how to lose. That's a real thing that happens with professional athletes, a very real thing in both football and basketball. And so if that's the case with Justin Fields, and you have to just reteach him everything from the ground up, then don't put any pressure. Don't put in this QB competition, because it's not going to help him grow and evolve. You need to treat him like a child right now. And again, I said this in my last video, that is not meant to be insulting. You just need, if you truly believe he is the future, then take it slow. Then what does this year really mean? You know, I mean, you're looking at the long-term trajectory, not the short-term, because you can put yourself in a really wonky situation where, okay, let's say, you know, Russ is now 3-6 or something, you know, 3-4, 3-5. And now everyone's like, should you put in Justin Fields? Should you put in Justin Fields? And Justin Fields is like, am I going in? Am I not going in? I don't know. I took some first team reps. Like, you know, what's going on? Am I out? Am I in? Am I out? It's 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You can't prepare that way. That's difficult for seasoned veterans, for players that have the utmost confidence in themselves. Now you're going to do that to say like Justin Fields? You're setting him up to fail again if that's the case. And the number one job as a head coach is to put your players in a position to succeed. So this idea that you're just going to randomly throw Justin Fields in, right, at a random moment in time, whether you're, you know, your record's 4-5, 6-6, you know, whatever it may be, it's just, it's not conducive to growing and being in a position to be successful. And Justin Fields has already endured a lot. He's already been punched and slapped every single direction you can. So put him finally in a position to succeed. Either get completely behind him and support him in that way, or just let him know, hey, you're not playing. This is not a competition. We believe in you in the long term. You are our guy. We essentially just drafted you right now, first round. And we already have Russell Wilson. You're going to learn from behind him. You're just going to relax. You're going to take a beat. You're going to just soak up everything. And you are going to come back and be a monster next season. Get excited. Let's go. But this whole half and half thing, I mean, just how many times has that ever really, really worked? Very rarely. And if it has ever worked, it's because they have a great OC or a great offensive coach or an elite offensive, you know, weapons, right? Otherwise, it's a disaster. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. Please let me know in the comments below. Do you think Justin Fields is the future for the Steelers? And if he is, what the heck are you doing with Russell Wilson? If you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, I read every single comment. So let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.